I recently got to watch this movie called Kaatruveliyidai by Mr. Manirathnam, and some of the things that I noticed about the movie is how artificial some of the scenes, some of the dialogues, and uh, uh, the whole thing about the movie being, the plot of the movie happens around the 1990s, like mid 1990s or somewhere around that time. And I I I noticed how why always Manirathnam tries to do this. Is it like is some kind of an obsession that he has um, for for this kind of characters exhibiting very British or American kind of behavior. You know what I mean? Um, they don't act normal. They are not like Indian. You won't feel that like an average Indian guy doesn't talk or act that way. If you notice the way these Marathon heroes and typical heroines act, I mean, every scene, the dialogues were like pathetic dialogues. I don't know who the dialogue writer. I believe it must be Suhasini, I guess, right? I could be wrong. I don't know why. I didn't bother to check. So artificial dialogues. Nobody speaks like that in Tamil Nadu. It's like. Why I've been like observing this for the past so many years that this guy pushes this so-called classy act, manner of the mannerisms and chivalrous behavior towards women. It's an important thing. It's not normal, but these guys, these Manirathnams and these Gautam Menons and the so-called class characters, they always try to social engineer people with this kind of behavior exhibition, bombard them with as always associate with such things, the so-called class. And why can't you just act normal and be classy at the same time, right? Why is that not possible? Why do we have to exhibit some cultural traits of a British man? Chivalrous is not an Indian thing in the first place. In fact, to confirm that, I just googled about how chivalry came into picture and things like that. I will be posting a few links like from WikiHow and a few other links. But this is a combination of British horsemen, behavior of British horsemen, and some Christian values. It doesn't look normal. And watching these movies, the teenage girls and the women start expecting Indian men to behave like open the car door and drag a chair before they sit, and all that bullshit. Why would you expect an Indian to exhibit something that's not Indian, right? And these guys are the ones who started this so-called notion of being cool if you're anything other than Indian. Like almost all of these Manirathnams and Gautam Menon's movies, they show the guy, the hero, exhibiting all kinds of imported behavior, and then they stylize those things, and that people, young kids, teenagers watch these things and fall for that shit, right? It doesn't have to be that way. These are the guys who spoiled, who made it inferior to be Indian. And this guy, thumps his chest, and I never go out of India to make movies as if like he's so bad. Well, first of all, fucking act normal, act like an Indian. Talk like an Indian. You can see the way they talk. They don't they can't speak in Tamil continuously without any English words, right? Where's the pride in that? Where's the fucking pride in that? Man, you just because you find something is cool doesn't mean um, that you can make a movie with all the heroes exhibiting the same behavior. I don't know. It's up to you. It's none of my business. However, you want to portray your characters, but yeah. So, but this is just my observation. Be it you take Minale's movies right from Gautam Menon's movies, starting from Minale. This guy picks her up, takes off her date, says thank you for the date. I mean, all what kind of bullshit is this? We don't say thank you to everything in India. We don't. It's see it's a cultural thing. It's very formal, and we are not very formal people. We are very close. I mean, once you take a girl, once you take a loved one on it, I mean, there's no concept of date. I mean, recently there could be many, but um, we just get close. We don't like don't say thanks. This is how normally people in Tamil Nadu act. Even if you say thanks, they say please don't say thanks, because it means you're not close enough. You're not intimate enough to. It creates a distance between us as people. It's not acceptable for us, for our friends to thank us. It's bullshit. It's an imported British behavior, European behavior, American behavior, or whatever behavior. It is not an Indian behavior, not an Indian characteristic, not a, not and all these kids in the past few days, because of all this Americanization, and they all try to act British, and try to act with chivalry, and to prove I am a better gentleman than you. It trying to change the social fabric of the system, right? This is social engineering, and we fall for the shit. And I don't know what these guys. Every movie almost he manages to have a scene with some American bridegroom. Always heroines go for like Americans who would come for a scene, and act as if you've never seen Indians before. Like what? You've seen Alipai, right? These guys made it cool. These guys are the ones who made it cool to be an American Mapale, if you know what I mean, right? These guys don't have any pride for their country, or any pride for the way they look like, for the way for they think anything British, anything European is cool, and they're trying to socially engineer people into believing the same thing. That's where I get pissed off. And every now, I mean, I've had enough of this shit. And then this movie, Kaatruveliyidai, comes in and boasts the shit out of me for like 2.5 hours. Man, me and my sister, what was this guy thinking? This guy Karthik, me and my sister were watching this movie. In one of the scenes, the Karthik guy, he gives some kind of a romantic reaction, I think, and meanwhile, the kid sitting next to, and we're like, wow, Mama, why is she crying? that's that's how pathetic the movie was. It was so unbelievably boring. Uh, I mean, on a whole different level. Forget about the story and the music and everything. The dialogues were so. I haven't heard such. It actually felt like I was watching a Telugu movie that was dubbed into Tamil. The dialogues were literally translated from Telugu to Tamil. You know what I mean? Like, or some other language to Tamil. They didn't sound like normal people's conversation. It was so boring and pathetic and irritating, to say the least. I don't know when these guys will stop thinking and acting, creating movies like this and so-called, self-proclaimed classy directors and all this fan following they have. Oh, God only knows what's going to happen to Tamil cinema if Manirathnam continues to keep. If Manirathnam, a guy of that caliber, who's won lots of awards and national, he's still in the past, man. You just need to grow up and catch up with the generation. I think people are changing, man. We don't glorify all those values we used to like 20 years ago. It's not the same anymore. We are all equals. We find every guy in every corner of the world as our equals. We are not in any way inferior to the values that they exhibit or because of the values that I exhibit. Nothing of that sort. Grow up. You just come out and face the normal people. Interact with them. Only then at least you come to know how people talk these days, right? Fucking bullshit, man. Stop living in a bubble, for God's sake.